Good morning. Well, I have had such a lovely start to the morning. I had a little bit of a lie-in. To be honest with you, I probably would have preferred more of a lie-in than what I had. But I've had a little bit of a lie-in and we've still got really windy weather here. So I've already done 2 loads of washing and they're out on the washing line to dry. I'm sure they will be dry by lunchtime with how windy it is. I've put a delicious lamb stew in the slow cooker and I think it's only like 9 o'clock in the morning. We've got such a glorious day today weather-wise. Surprisingly, we're actually getting a little bit of cold weather again. We'd sort of headed towards, late spring, almost summerish temperatures, but it's snapped back to some cold weather, which I'm, not hating. I don't mind the colder weather. We're going to be getting a lot of hot weather soon enough, so happy to embrace the cooler sort of temperatures. But for today, I thought it is actually a public holiday. I mentioned it in Wednesday's video, in the part 5 orchard video. Today is actually a public holiday here, and I thought we would spend it together and just have a lovely, slow, easy day at the cottage. I've had, like I said, some cooking this morning. The weather is just perfect. I've said it so many times, but I definitely want to do a dedicated garden tour. But I just thought at this point, I might just wait a few weeks. Just as we get a little bit closer to summer, I think a lot of the plants will have had time to kind of flush back out, and I think that would be really beautiful for you to see. So I definitely will do a, full cottage garden tour for you like I normally do. But how I thought we'd start this video this morning is with a very mini cottage garden tour. There are some really exciting developments that I'm just bursting at the seams to share with you, and I don't think that I don't want them to wait a couple of weeks. I want to share them with you. Given that you have been on this journey with me the last couple of weeks, I want to be able to give you all the updates. Some of our projects that we've been doing together have just been so unbelievably successful, and I'm really excited to show them to you. And again, as I said, you've been on this whole journey with me, so I definitely want to keep you in the loop and updated. I just wanted to really quickly show you these little ground covers are flowering. How pretty are the flowers? And so we're basically starting the mini garden tour now. You'll remember, gosh, maybe a month or so ago now, we had a really hard prune back on the Malaysian orchids. Well, I am so pleased to tell you they lived. We have life. Look. Can you see the little sprouts? So it is just about to erupt back into leaf. I'm so happy. I definitely will not let them get that big ever again. I will be much better with my pruning. So both of them are bouncing back now. So, so happy. I mean, again, it wouldn't have mattered if they didn't survive the pruning. I would have planted something else, but they were very beautiful and very ornamental. So happy that they have bounced back. But they are there. And then you will also remember in all of our pruning, this one here got a really hard prune back, and I mean, look at all that growth. It is just flourishing there. And then I'll give you a little look at the other one. I actually think this one, this Malaysian orchid is much further along. I mean, look at this growth point here. That is all new growth. So we've already got new little branch and leaves. Look at all these ones here. Here. Oh, they're going to look incredible. Oh my gosh. Definitely subscribe, and you are going to just see this garden erupt over the next couple of weeks, months, I would say. But one of the main reasons I wanted to do this little sort of mini garden tour at the start, you have definitely been on the rose journey with me, as I sort of became mildly obsessed with roses over the last few months. And you will recall, if you've been subscribed for a little while, you will recall that I ordered some roses online, some climbing roses online. This one here and this one here. And we did the entire sort of process together. So from the day they arrived, me unboxing them, when they were bare root roses, me rehydrating them, the healing over process, planting them, then moving them and replanting them. And it's been such a learning experience for me, and I hope it was an experience that you enjoyed as well. But I just wanted to give you a very quick update. Also, very quickly, how gorgeous are these can flowers here? Aren't they pretty? The white, I think the white really has an impact in this corner. And so hopefully they will fill out amongst the stepping stones here. I do think I'm going to have to pull this out. He's really just in the way there, unfortunately. But the white is very pretty. But this is the Cinderella climbing rose, and I just wanted to show you, like, there's so much greenery here, it's probably hard to tell, but she is in this shape, and already, like, look at all of her branches. Do you remember when I unboxed it and they were just completely bare root roses, you know, like all of this growth is just looking, she's still getting all new leaves. Is that a little ladybug? Oops, sorry, camera doesn't like being that close. So the Cinderella is doing so well, and I'm so pleased. I have to say, I mean, look at all the new growth here. That's a mini rose. That's the Cinderella climbing here, and then this is a separate mini rose. But pretty much all the roses in Rose Corner are just doing unbelievably well. I'm so happy with how they're all going. But what I really wanted to share with you was the Sweet Laguna Rose, because we have had some developments. I'm trying to think of the best spot to show you. The sun's not the best. Look at this. Look! It is her first little bloom. Let me just lift it up. Can you see that? Her first flower bud. Oh my gosh. I hope you are as excited as I am. You have been on this journey with me. But she has her very first flower bud. The moment I saw it, I basically just squealed. I didn't actually think she would get flowers for probably the first year or two. And to see a bud there and another one starting up in here, and she has another one here, it looks like starting. So she is loving life in her little tower here, in her little rose tower. Just sort of step back. So we assembled this tower together. So she's sort of still in there in her little sort of obelisk tower, whatever you would like to call it. I sort of lean towards more of a tower, but I cannot believe it. I cannot believe she may flower. So one of the things I want to do in this video is definitely fertilize her. I'm fairly sure the instructions were that I was not to fertilize the climbing roses that I got until they had started to get buds. And so now that she has her buds, I'm going to fertilize her. So we'll definitely do that together today. I want to spend a little bit of time out in the garden together today and have just a really good potter around. There's going to be so many. I've actually ordered a couple of things online that will be coming, and we'll definitely be unboxing all of that together and doing all that together in coming videos. But there is some very exciting things coming up. I'm just coming in here because I wanted to show you. We have got it is still quite early, and so all the spider webs are still in place. I wanted to show you the second little prince has opened up. That is an Australian native flower in there. Can you see? Aren't they just magical? So unique, the flower head. I'll walk back out to the path and I'll give you that different angle of it. So yes, there's definitely going to be a lot of exciting things coming up. And then if I just step back out here, you can see it in there. It's almost like a sun. Don't you think? You know, like when you were a little kid and you drew a sun? That's like... So pleased to have my second one of those. This replanted bed is all doing really well still. Not massive amounts of growth, it's only been a couple of weeks, but they've all survived. So that's definitely really positive. All looking good. We went to the garden centre. I don't know if I took you when I went to the garden centre, but I went to the garden centre recently, and I do have some replacement blue eyes for this little edging here. So I want to do that with you today. Gosh, the bees are very busy this morning. You can just see them all around. I also need to move all of these rocks. They are left over from the orchard garden edging. But obviously I've got leftovers. I've got another project that I'm wanting to do at the front of the property. So they will be repurposed for that project. Look at the pumpkin. That is the other thing that I definitely need to get stuck into today. Like, look at him sneaking through this garden bed. No, Mr. Pumpkin, you cannot go in the garden bed. Look how green it all is here. I've been getting much better with my fertilizing. I was pretty bad with keeping on top of the fertilizing. So it's looking very, very healthy at the moment in this corner. So I definitely need to get stuck into some pumpkin maintenance today as well. And just a really good vegetable garden, tidy up. Everything is looking like really good, just a little bit messy because the orchard has been my main focus over the last sort of month or two. It's been a little bit neglected, which is unfortunate. I just want to tidy up the tomatoes and yeah, just have a good potter. The longevity spinach is going to flower, as you can see here. So I really just want to pretty much take it back to bare stump and hope that we get another flush of delicious leaves in the coming sort of weeks. I do have my first little broccoli floret coming through. Can you see there? Very cute. The hot weather is literally right around the corner, so I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to get anything harvested from here before they bolt, but that is okay. The cucumbers that we planted together maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago now, they are doing surprisingly well here. So I was experimenting with growing them up this pole. So obviously they're not tall enough yet, but they're alive. And that is what is surprising to me. I didn't think that they would do this well and flourish in that weird, awkward little corner there. But they seem to be, yeah, they seem to be okay. So I'll keep an eye on them, and once they get tall enough, I'll start to train them around this pole. But I'm pleased with that. This dwarf broom, I think, is going to be such a gorgeous addition to the garden. Once it gets bigger and fills out that space. I've shown you this a couple of times, but she is so gorgeous. It warrants showing you as many times as I possibly can. This is the temple bells. I mean, it's a bold thing to say, but I would have to say she is definitely in one of the, you know, the top end of my favorite plants in this garden. Those flowers are, God, those just, yeah, enchanting, magical, just, yeah. Every time I walk past here and I look at them, it brings such a smile to my face. Just give you a little close up there of them. They're a pure white. So far, they don't appear to fade to any, oh my goodness, could you see our little friend behind? The magpie? I don't know if he's seen me or not. I won't startle him. But yeah, they seem to be staying pure white, and they are very long-lived. It's been weeks and weeks now, and she seems to just be holding on to these flowers. It's just a piece of art. You know, this structure, an absolute piece of art in my garden. So happy with that impulse purchase. Goodness me. In a way, I almost wish I'd gotten two. Alright, I've got one last exciting thing to show you. Look! Oh my gosh, and there's even a bee. Oh, the bee is a paid actor. Look at the hyacinth bulbs. Oh. So this was one of our gardening experiments that we did together. I'm in a subtropical gardening zone, so I actually can't just plant bulbs out. I don't get cold enough. But I popped these in the fridge for a few weeks, and we put them in the fridge together. We planted them up together, and look at them. Isn't that so beautiful? They were a mixed color, obviously. So we've got like the sort of more sort of fuchsia pink, almost a very like white, very pale pink. That's almost like a bubble gum kind of pink. This one here is just starting to open, and it looks like it is going to be white. And then I have a few more starting to come out. So we've got 4 more to come. And I'm so excited to see what colors they are going to be. The smell, I mean, which is what's clearly drawing the bees, as you can see. Such a strong smell. Look at him in there getting all the pollen. Ooh, they're fighting over it. Wow. So this was definitely a very successful experiment, and one that I intend to do every single year now. It's been such an exciting sort of beginning for like spring, and such a like gorgeous way to mark the beginning of spring. I think having, you know, your bulbs come up just to signify, yeah. Anywho, that is probably the last sort of super exciting update that I couldn't wait to share with you. But I have a little project in mind for today, so I might quickly talk you through that, and then we're actually going to get into the car and head off. I apologise, the lighting here is probably not the best, but if you have been subscribed for a little while, you will recognise this little cluster of pots. And one of the things I would like to do today is actually reduce the number of pots here. I kind of want to take it down to 2 pots, and I think I'm going to keep this pot here at the back, the snack capsicums, but the sage and the lemon balm and the climbing spinach I actually want to combine into sort of one quite large concrete pot. And the blueberries, I think I'm going to move down into the orchard, kind of just to keep all the fruit in one place. I'll kind of talk more about berries in probably next Wednesday's video when we kind of do the orchard finale. But yeah, so that will get rehomed. And I think that that's just going to look really nice and just make sure this space is quite a walk, like it's the sort of walkway here. And so I think it's going to just make sure it remains open and not too crowded. So that is the project that I'm wanting to tackle today. As I said, it is still quite early and it is public holiday, but I rang the garden centre this morning and they have confirmed that they are open. So I'm going to go and get a tape measure, and I'm just going to kind of measure the dimensions here just to make sure when I'm there, I'm picking a pot that's an appropriate size. So that's the first thing we're going to tackle today. So I'm going to go grab a tape measure, measure the space, and then we're going to head into the car. We're going to drive to the garden centre and have a really good sort of look around at the available pots. But just so you can kind of keep this space in mind, that is what I'm looking for. Something really beautiful for in here. And then once we come back, we'll obviously kind of transform this little space together. And then, as I've already said to you, there is a fair bit of other sort of easy, well, hopefully, easy kind of cottage garden pottering to do. I've got a little bit of potting around inside to do. Yeah, so we're going to spend a beautiful, slow, just easy living day together. And I hope you are going to really enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed that kind of little mini tour and then update on all of our projects that we've been doing together. I'm over the moon with how successful quite a number of them have been. And I hope you've really enjoyed seeing all these projects and seeing all these different transformations. And if you have, I would really, really appreciate it. And I would love it if you subscribed. It's free for you to do. And it just means you'll get notified when my videos go live. And it also enables my videos to kind of find other like-minded people who might enjoy my content as well. Anywho, I'm going to go in, I'm going to grab the tape measure, and then let's get going. We have arrived at the garden centre and just admiring all their gorgeous spring flowers and all their pots. So let's head in and see what we can find. Well, we have not even made it into the door, and I actually quite like this. I've just got my tape measure out, and I think that that could be quite a good size. I like the concrete style of it, and I like that it's really wide at the top, but then it kind of tapers down into the little base just so that we can get a what's it called? A tray underneath it. A saucer under it. So that could be, it's about 62 centimeters wide. So this could be a contender, but we'll see what else they have first.
The thing with those other bowls is they go in up the
Yeah,
top,
yeah, we want it
smaller.
wide. Yeah. I've got Mum here with me to help with advice as to which will be the best. But yeah, I don't mind that, and I quite like the rustic finish on it. Anyway, we'll continue. We'll actually head in and we'll see what other options there are. It's a really pretty garden centre. So clearly, as you can see, they have lots of pots and plants and bits and pieces here. So we'll have a little mooch around and just see. I mean, we're not really in the market necessarily for plants, but you never know. You never know if we see something that must be added to the gardens. Oh, they're those butterfly bushes. I've had those before. They're actually quite nice, and they kind of get like this spire up with the flower on it, and when it's windy and they're quite tall, they sort of dance in the breeze. They're quite nice. I'm just in the fruit trees. Would you look at the bees on this? I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a lemon tree or... Oh my gosh. So many on there. Goodness me. They sort of have like this like full shade area here with all shade loving plants, which is very pretty. They've got like all of these walkways that you can walk down. Look at the moss. Ooh. Yeah, in the shade. I mean, not that it's a super hot day, but I'll have a little poke in here and just see what they have. Oh, that's amazing, isn't it? I mean, we couldn't use that anywhere, but how pretty is this? And then it's got the little matching stand to go with it. That is very pretty. And they have this little greenhouse structure here full of like succulents and cactuses. How cool! Look at this log. So that is like a wooden log that they are growing all of their succulents in. How amazing is that? Oh, it's very warm in here. Which is understandable because obviously cactuses. No, but they do like the warmth. That's a very cool idea though, like the log, and then they've got like the dirt and then they place them in. That's very pretty. I've never been in this section before. How cool is that? It's a monkey tail, a yellow monkey tail. So, excitingly, pot has been purchased. I've got that in the boot. We're on our way home. Mum just needed to stop at the grocery store to pick up a couple of things, so I'm just waiting in the car for her. She's just popped out to do that. And then we're going to head home. Would you believe it is now 12 o'clock? Where has the day gone? You know, you start the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it just goes so quickly, even when it's just such a lovely, relaxed day. And I suppose that's where the day's gone. We just had a really nice like amble around the garden center. It's such a pretty garden center. They've got all the shade areas, almost like, I mean, you would have seen in the clips, like quite like rainforesty, and had some really beautiful things there. But we were very restrained because I've got a lot of plants to go in at home. But yes, so let's head home. And I think what I might do, because it's 12 o'clock now and it's kind of the peak of the day, might get home, might unload the pot and then have some lunch. And then we might get stuck out into the garden, maybe a little bit later this afternoon when it's a little tiny bit cooler. So maybe around 2 o'clock, we'll head back out into the garden. And now that I have that pot, I am actually really keen to move all those pots around and kind of do a very small transformation on that space. I think it's going to look really lovely. Just to sort of have the pots sort of reduced there, and having that one large pot with all the little lemon balm and sage and climbing spinach and that. So yeah, let's do that. Let's go home. I'm going to unload, have some lunch, and then I will probably meet you out into the garden. So I've had my lunch and heading into the garden now. You will have noticed there have already been some changes. Picked up that pot that we saw when we were at the garden centre earlier. This is the one. So the plan is, this is actually starting to turn yucky, so that's probably going to go. This is a gift for someone, so I will repurpose that somewhere. The rocket has gone over now, so that's going to come out. And then what I'm going to do is put the red climbing spinach towards the back. I'm going to give the lemon balm quite a good trim back, and then it will go sort of here, and then the sage will kind of go on the side. I have to say, I'm very, very surprised that all the sage made it. I planted all of the little seedlings because I thought some of them may die. But none of them did, which is actually, I mean, that's brilliant, obviously, but I don't need that much sage. So I'm actually thinking of maybe gifting like 2 of them to somebody, maybe like these 2. So I might pot them into individual pots and I can gift them. But yeah, and then I think this will look much tidier here with just sort of this pot. We're going to keep the snack capsicums where they are. Obviously the little turtles will stay where they are. Right, well, let's just get going with it. We won't dawdle around any further because I've got a fair bit to do this afternoon. So let's go and have a nice little potter. I'm wondering maybe I will pop you on a tripod somewhere. So it probably looks a little bit like chaos at the moment, but we're just moving all the pots out the way to make room for this one towards the back. So I've just got my gloves on. I'm going to do a quick clear up of any of the little, dead sort of bits or bits we don't want, and then we will hopefully be able to position this and we'll go from there. So we're just trying to dig everything out of the pots. We've got the climbing spinach out of this pot and we've just put it in here temporarily. The poor little thing is no doubt traumatized. And then we're going to try and get some of the sage out. And you can see we've got the pots all positioned and we've got some of the organic potting soil just there at the bottom. We will it's all a bit of a mess at the moment. We will clean up all of this, obviously. But it is already looking so much tidier than what it was looking before, so that's really lovely. But yeah, so we're just going to try and get the sage out and probably the lemon balm over here out, and I'm going to try and reuse the dirt that is in these pots in there, just so we're not wasting. So they are going in, and we're just making a little bit of room on this corner here for the lemon balm, and then this will be all done. Looking so much better, so much tidier. Still beautiful, but just tidy. Oh, that is looking so much better. Don't you think? I mean, obviously I need to get the leaf blower out and I need to pressure wash this concrete little patio area here, but so much tidier. Still really nice, like it's just nice to have some pots there at the entryway to the cottage garden, but it just doesn't feel so overpowering as when we had, oh gosh, whatever it was, 5 or 6 pots. And it means, I just switch hands, that we can now kind of easily get to the isolator valve for the orchard area. Oh, so happy with that. I need to obviously get the leaf blower out and just, get rid of all this debris and that, but oh, it looks so good. And I mean, obviously I hope everything, some of the roots were very, very established, but the sage here and the lemon balm, I've just planted all the sage. I'm concerned, given the amount of root damage that they sustained, they may not all make it. But I wanted to show you that snack capsicums are doing so well. Look, we have our first one. So hopefully the first of many, but that is looking all good. So that is one project ticked off. It's about, I'd say it's maybe 3:10 now. So I'm thinking we might just try and get the blue eyes in this afternoon, but that might be all that I have time for. I do need to go in and make a batch of cookies and a loaf of bread to have with the stew. So we'll see how we go time-wise. But yeah, oh, so happy. So these are the ones here. Blew my mind. So I mentioned earlier that we've just got some gaps here, and another one over there. So Mum and I are just going to try and very quickly get these ones in before it gets too much later. the Blue My Mine are in. We definitely need to get a few more of those for that corner there, but they are all in. So next up, this pot here and this pot here that is now empty had one of these trailing violets in it. Now both of these two are in full sun all day, and I don't know if you can tell by looking at it, but it's way too hot. While the trailing violet has done well, as in she's, you know, draping down, and when you compare her to, I'm looking for one that's there's nothing close by here, but in other areas of the garden where she's getting a bit more shade, she just looks so much more lush. The leaves are quite an emerald green. It just looks much nicer. It's just too much of a full sun position here for her. So we are going to be repositioning or repurposing this one here, and this one here is already gone, and then I will show you what we're going to put in their place. We're going to put a couple of the cans, but I'll show you the pots of those. So we picked up 4 of these at the garden centre. So I'm going to do 2 in each pot, but they're just a little bit hardier. They get lots of flowers. They're sort of similar in that they're a trailing kind of ground cover. So I think that they'll be really pretty, sort of draping over the pots. I think the white is really fresh and nice, like the white flowers on it are really lovely. And yeah, full sun. So hopefully they will prefer that position a lot more than the trailing violet did. And they're great for pollinators, which is also good, because obviously, as I just showed you, that one pot is right above the beehive. So it'd be brilliant if they had a little snack right on top of their home. So yeah, 4 of those. We'll put 2 in each pot and see how that's looking. Hopefully that will sort of fill them enough, and then we'll get that really gorgeous trailing habit in a couple of weeks once they grow a bit more. I also wanted to show you, look, the wisteria has come back, and she's got all new little shoots over here. That's very exciting. I wonder if she will flower at some point. I don't know how you tell. I shall Google what the flowers look like. Continuing with our morning garden tour, the red crepe myrtle was just moved up sort of the back here in Rose Corner. I'll take a step back in a moment, but I wanted to show you she's already started to get all of her new season foliage. Can you see? All new growth. I wasn't sure if she would make it after the transplanting because her root ball was quite substantial, understandably. But yeah, she's loving the new position there. So it's just above where we were this morning, Rose Corner here. So all the roses are here, and she's just up the top there. She's going to be sensational when she gets tall and all of her red blooms come out. But I thought I'd very quickly get the rose fertilizer on. I checked the instructions and they said to fertilize on new season growth. So I'm going to say that that is new season growth, as is that there, as well as the blooms. So this is the fertilizer that I use for my roses. And I have this like little plasticky spoon thing that I just have repurposed. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little tiny smattering of rose fertilizer pellets just along the base there. So just to show you, that is what the little pellets look like, and then I just get a little tiny scoop like so, and then I kind of just sprinkle. I don't put it really close to the like trunk branch, main branch. I sort of just sprinkle it around. And then when she gets watered in, the fertilizer is a slow release fertilizer, so it will just enrich the soil around her and give her a little bit of extra food. So I'm going to do the same thing now. So this is a Cinderella. I'm going to do the same thing on the Sweet Laguna. Got another one of these multi-tonal roses coming out. Very pretty. And then we've got the Sweet Laguna here. And so again, I'm just getting a few little pellets there, and then I'm just sort of sprinkling around her base. Like so. And just to give them a little bit of food, you can see all the pellets in there, so that hopefully she will put on a lot of growth and we will get some gorgeous flowers. Alright, so all the roses in this corner are fertilized, and oh my goodness, I know I've spoken about it so many times, and I know it's not super helpful because you can't smell things through the TV or your phone, but the smell of this jasmine is just so beautiful. It's just that pure jasmine smell, that delicate, just delicious fragrance. Gosh, it's pretty. And it does it perfumes throughout the entire day, but in the afternoons and evenings, it is particularly strong. And all of this has got new growth. But I've just taken all the washing off the line from earlier this morning, and I thought I would just show you the lighting, while gorgeous, is not the best for showing you it's quite that golden hour lighting now. But that is the can in that pot there, so I'll need to give them a good drink of water. But I think once they start to trail down on the sides, that is going to be beautiful. And then just over here, you can see these ones here, again, just the can. And it's looking a little bit bare because obviously they're not sort of hanging down yet, but hopefully only in a matter of weeks they will start to, they'll put on a lot of growth, and then they'll, hang over a little bit. Just giving the beehive the whimsical vibe that I love. And as I said earlier, these are bee attracting. So hopefully the little bees will be happy. And it may already be too late for the bees. They may have already gone to bed. Oh, there's a few at the entrance there. Can you see them? And then I'll just quickly pop around and show you the pot. I did show you these before. These are in. We'll get a few more for this corner, but that's going to have to be another day and another trip to the garden centre. But just very quickly, so sorry, excuse the hose pipe there, but these are going to get a very good drink of water. But I'm over the moon with that. I think it looks really good, just very sort of clean. I need to get the pressure washer out for that, but nice, clean and tidy, still beautiful as the sort of entry walkway into the cottage garden, but just a little bit simpler and not so full on with 5 or 6 pots. I'm wanting to change this pot here, but that will no doubt be in a future video. So yes, that's probably going to be all from the garden. I'm going to head in now and possibly have a quick shower, and then we might get going with the cookies and the bread. The stew is looking incredible. Oh, the smell smells so good. It's just bubbling away there. It's about an hour, I'd say, maybe an hour and a half till dinner time. So I am going to get going with the bread and then also make the cookie dough and put that in the fridge to chill. So that's what we're going to do now. Let's get going on the bread. Now, I have made this gluten-free bread with you before. It's a type of focaccia. So I'm going to just really quickly go through the recipe. I won't spend a lot of time on it, because you have seen me do it before. But first things first, we just want 3.5 cups of gluten-free flour. So that is our 3.5 cups of gluten-free flour. Now I'm using my Magimix. You can obviously do this exact same recipe just in a bowl. And then the next thing we need after the flour is just 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And then we're going to use a instant dried yeast. I'm going to do 2.25 teaspoons of, then we're going to add in some seasoning. I'm going to do salt. And because I'm having mine with a lamb roast, I'm also going to add in a little bit of rosemary. And some organic garlic powder. Obviously you can pick whichever sort of seasonings you like for your focaccia. So that is all the dry ingredients done. Then the next thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to either your proving temperature or 100 degrees Celsius. Then while the oven is heating up, we're going to do 2 cups of water, like filtered water, at around 43 degrees Celsius. So once your oven reaches 100 degrees, you want to turn your oven off. And then once your water has gotten to around 43 to 45 degrees Celsius, you want to pour it in. And then we're just going to do our first mix. So then after the first mix, you're just going to kind of scrape down the sides a little bit just to make sure all the flour is being mixed through. And then we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. A small amount of olive oil. And that's it. That's all you need to do. That's all your ingredients. We're going to mix that up again. And then I'm just going to get that from this bowl into here, and then we'll pop it into the oven to prove. So once you have your dough into your little tin, I just put a bit of baking paper over the top, and then you just get a tea towel, cover it with a tea towel, and then pop it in the warmed oven with the oven turned off for half an hour. Now, while the bread is in the oven proving, I'm actually just going to whip up a batch of chocolate chip cookies very quickly and get them also in the fridge to chill before I bake them. I'm just using gluten-free flour, and you need 1.5 cups of gluten-free flour, and then we're putting in half a teaspoon of baking powder. So after the baking powder, I just do a little sprinkle of cinnamon, a splash of vanilla extract. I do a good handful of chocolate chips. I'm using dark chocolate chips, and I'm also using organic sugar-free chocolate chips. And then I'm gonna kind of put in maybe 1/4 of a cup of maple syrup, and then I'm just gonna do 1 egg. And then the last thing you need is 1/2 cup of coconut oil. I've just had mine in the oven to soften it, to make it easier to mix through. And that's it. And then you just mix it all together, put it on a baking sheet, and put it in the fridge for half an hour. So that is our cookie dough ready to go in the fridge. I know it doesn't look like much now, but this is gluten-free, dairy-free, and refined sugar-free chocolate chip cookies. They are so good. I make a batch of this every single week, and then the cookies last me all week. So I'm gonna pop this, I'm basically just gonna like cover it over like that, and then take the ends up. I'm going to put this in the fridge for about half an hour just to chill it, and then I'll take it out of the fridge and then sort of make little little balls out of it and kind of flatten them into a cookie shape, and then I cook them in the oven for 15 minutes on 180 degrees Celsius. And that is the delicious cookies. The bread is still in the oven proving, as I said, for half an hour. Once the half an hour is up, I just basically take it out of the oven. I uncover it from the tea towel and the baking paper that was on top. Then I just pop it back in the oven for around 20-25 minutes on 200 degrees Celsius. And there you have it. So the sun has pretty much gone down now. I am very, very happy now with this cluster of pots. I really just want to change this one over as well. I do have my eye on a pot, so that change may be coming very soon. Everything is in either proving or chilling in the fridge. Dinner is almost ready, and we've got a delicious stew with homemade focaccia bread. And then for dessert, I will have my cookies and a cup of tea. But I've popped out now because I think I'm going to bid you farewell and a good night now. I will show you a couple of clips after this of, you know, what the bread looks like and the cookies once they're all done and delicious, just so you can sort of see the end result. If you're interested in those recipes, let me know in the comments, and I can always do a much slower paced sort of video and kind of, you know, slowly go through the recipes, and we can kind of almost, you know, make them together. But I hope you have really enjoyed spending pretty much the entire day with me. We started early this morning with, you know, doing loads of washing, having breakfast, and then we had our little mini cottage garden tour just to give you an update on some of the incredible developments in the garden. Then we headed out to the garden centre and just had such a nice little potter around, you know, obviously having a look at that new pot, but also having a little look at the plants and seeing what they had in, spending some time with Mum, coming home, and then getting out to the cottage garden and just pottering around here, getting all those pots changed over, getting the blue eyes in, and then planting up these cans here. They're going to be so pretty in the coming weeks, fertilizing the roses, and just, yeah, it's been a really lovely day, just lovely slow cottage pottering. I didn't get all the gardening I wanted to get done today, which is completely okay. That happens sometimes, so I'll just tackle it tomorrow. Definitely keen to get to that pumpkin tomorrow, but it has just been such a special day, such a enjoyable day, and I was absolutely delighted to spend it with you. I hope you enjoyed spending the time with me as well. But as I said, I'm going to say farewell and a good night. I will see you on Wednesday for the grand finale of the orchard transformation. I cannot wait to share that with you. It is going to be incredible. I'm so unbelievably excited. That has been a labor of love, but it is just looking spectacular. Anywho, as I said, after this I will give you a couple of little clips just of the finished bread and the cookies, but I will see you on Wednesday. Bye.